Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas. In Wide Angle with Ashok Vyas today, we have the pleasure of welcoming someone who has worked closely with various languages, and especially her expertise is in Spanish. Indeed, she speaks Hindi, English, and Bengali. But most important, when we talk about women, we talk about Women's Day. In the Indian context, we always think about fascination of women for gold. And fascination of gold results into certain achievements in a different way as far as academics is concerned. So today my guest Taruna Chakravorty is gold medalist in master's program in Hispanic and Spanish, Delhi University. There is much more related to all the work she has done, especially in Spanish language, but Spanish literature and on women oriented themes. There have been many papers and presentations by her. Taruna ji, welcome. Namaste.
Namaskar.
So, on the lighter side, what do you think makes a woman happy?
Well, I think whatever makes anybody else happy also makes women happy. If women are able to realize their dreams, that is one way of making them happy. There are many ways actually to happiness. It is not just if a woman has, she can be happy. If she gets dignity at home and respect at home, she can be happy. So I think basically anybody who gets dignity and respect, with respect to themselves, they can be very happy.
Now let's go towards literature side, where you have done some work especially about women oriented themes in Spanish literature, and you have your own conclusions based on that study. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, in my research I chose to study Mexican literature, and I have traced the portrayal of women in Mexican literature over a period of 100 years. Like 100 years ago, they were portrayed in a very stereotypical manner. They were docile, they were submissive, they were supposed to be pure, and a very traditional roles they played. And the moment they stepped out and broke those stereotypes to enter the male domain, they are either cast out of the group, or they are killed, or they are put in a mental asylum. So these are all very, to my mind, radical solutions to anybody who does not fit into society. Then 100 years down the line, I've studied narco novels. Narco novels are novels that deal with narco trafficking.
I see.
And I have focused on women who become heads of drug cartels. I haven't judged these women, because for them, in the world that they live in, it is a part of life. As an academic, I have tried to see what are the conditions that a woman requires to reach the top of her career, whatever it is. So what I have said basically is that perhaps in the illegal world, for the first time, the woman is not judged if she does not perform the traditional roles, In our legal world, all of us are judged. So, and she is not burdened with the traditional roles. So if she has the inherent capabilities, if she has the inherent potential to become a leader, to lead, she does that. And she is accepted the way she is for that.
So your study is based on fiction or facts?
It is fiction. It is fiction. But like all fiction, fiction is also based in reality. There is no fiction which is original. Everything comes from what is real. So we have had, women who are heads of cartels also. That is not to say that, one is glorifying these women.
Right.
But as an academic, you study what are the conditions that a woman requires to rise to the top of whatever she's doing.
So we, going beyond genders, we want a person, an individual, to realize her potential. Now, from that point of view, there was a structure in the society which now we refer to as stereotype society. So, which probably also took into account the innate qualities or virtues or basic inclination of men or women. I look at it, if we look at it that way,
Yeah.
and you analyze based on your study and observation, do you see there was a basic flaw or something else trickled down whereby people started exploiting the particular structure which was given to them as a standard or an ideal way to grow?
You see, in the traditional societies, like hundreds of years ago, maybe thousands of years ago, physical strength, brute strength, was an important factor in deciding who ruled and who dominated.
Mhm.
All right. Women, due to their biological body, when they gave birth at various times, in the months, they were vulnerable. They could not go out and hunt. So they were weak at that point. And since our society was based on brute strength, men dominated. But now we are living in the 21st century. Everything moves at the push of a button. We don't require brute strength for anything, So I don't see why rules that were followed, depending on conditions thousands of years old, should be applied now. They can't be applied now, The only thing that should matter between men and women is their inherent capacity, their intelligence, because the biggest or the most powerful men or women in the world are not powerful because they have brute strength. It's because they have this, they're intelligent and they have mental strength. So in this aspect, I don't think nature has been partial to the man, I think men and women have been endowed in equal amounts.
So we always hear that men and women complement each other.
Yeah.
Now, when that complementing each other is to be practiced, you take into account certain aspects of women, you take into account certain aspects of men, and of late there seems to be a state of rearrangement of the equation of understanding between the two genders, and that seems to be causing some friction and some sort of avoidable stress or tension. Do you see the process of change in society from that point of view?
Yes, I think there is friction only when men resist changes. You see, women have been able to break stereotypes and have been able to come out of traditional roles. But men have not been able to advance as fast as women. And that is where the friction is caused. Where you say, traditionally, it was thought that only women were the nurturers and caregivers, because that was the role that they performed, for hundreds of years or thousands of years. But I think it is very unfair to men to say that men cannot be caregivers, that men can't be tender and men can't be loving towards their families. It is a big injustice to men also. I think men are more than capable of performing those roles.
So I see that as a encouraging compliment for men. And if you look at it from that point of view, I think I recollect many men who were tied in certain role, which was not natural to them, but because they are men, they have to be. For example, men don't cry. Now we have seen even President Obama cried, and recently I saw Prime Minister Narendra Modi also expressing his emotions. So now coming to most of your presentations have been focused on women-oriented themes. So let's talk about women in contemporary India that was presented by you at Columbia. In today's India, moving beyond the traditional women, the percentage of women whom you see demonstrating the openness of embracing their potential without being inhibited by the pressure of tradition is not a lot actually. There are only few women who are exploring what they are capable of. If I say that, would you agree based on
Absolutely,
your study?
absolutely. Because you see, society does not only condition men, it conditions women as well. I have friends, and I'm sure there will be viewers who are watching this, who will feel that, I am probably not correct when I say that men can be caregivers and nurturers as well, because traditionally a woman is supposed to do this, and it is supposed to be one of the highest roles or functions that a woman plays. But just like men, like I said, men have been conditioned, women have been conditioned also. So many times women also hold themselves back because they feel that once they get married, they have children, that their husband will not be able to take care of the child or the parents. Sometimes even when the husband is willing, they feel that no, he will not be able to do it. The first few times he does it, nothing is perfect. It won't be perfect. But I think men also have to be given the chance to perform these roles.
I think circumstances now are giving chance to many men to be performing certain roles which they were totally prohibited from doing. For example, as I was growing, I never saw my father in the kitchen. Others who would go, and that was the norm. So if a boy goes to kitchen, he was shouted at, what are you doing in the kitchen? So there was a mindset about the kind of role that is expected of you as a boy was clearly laid out. Now that same boy, let's say I'm talking about me, when he grows and there are circumstances where you have to do certain chores in kitchen, it would initially have natural resistance. So going about the kind of change which is coming for men and women, what is it that might help them in accepting this changing dynamics without lot of friction?
Well, I think if they want to be happy, they have to change. And if society has to progress, society has to change. We have to change the way we think. If women want to go out of cross the threshold of their homes and realize their ambitions and careers, the society should be willing to step in and help her to achieve those dreams, because people, when they don't achieve their dreams, they are unhappy. Unhappy people are not good for society.
Now, what kind of people would be happy or unhappy, and what kind of dream they would have, that is also somehow dictated by their surroundings. As in Sanskrit we hear yatra nari pujyante ramante tatra devata. Coming to the present women and her different aspirations and the women power that you see in Indian mythology, about which also you have done some study. Tell us, what is the inspiration that comes from all that is available in the form of wisdom, which reinforces your idea that women should dream big and excel and go beyond the stereotypes?
I think there are several things in what you have said. First is that you say that where women are worshipped, that is where the divine is found.
I didn't say this is a Sanskrit.
Yes,
quote.
This is a Sanskrit slok, which many people follow, since it is from the scriptures. Unfortunately, women are not worshipped in our country. Only the goddesses are worshipped. Women and goddesses are separated, isn't it? If women were also worshipped or treated well, then there would be no question of, trying to become independent, trying to have a career of one's own. I don't say that women who are taking care of their homes, who are homemakers, that everybody should rush out and have their careers.
Correct.
Because different things make different people happy. A woman can be very happy, taking care of her family, cooking for her family, because that gives her a pleasure. But another woman might want to go out there and work. She might want to head a corporation. She might want to be a professor. So it is what makes people happy. What I'm saying is that women should have the choice to choose what they want. If a woman wants to become an engineer, if she wants to fly into space, she should be given the opportunity that yes, you can, just like men have been given the opportunity. I just say that the equal opportunity should be given to every human being on earth to exercise what will give them happiness within the limited frame of what is acceptable and what is possible. That is what I say.
Indeed. So what is possible, Tarunaji, is determined, decided and redefined by human beings as they grow, and women are doing that successfully. Talking about women at workplace, and recently, unfortunately, we have seen many big celebrities background has come out of skeleton, and there is a Me Too movement that is also in place. There are additional challenges for women when they are in the corporate world, and how do you see they sometimes prevent them from pursuing their goal with full force because of the so-called additional challenges which are gender specific?
Absolutely. It is a sad reality of our times. Not just of our times, I'm sure this has existed
All the time.
But it has just come to the forefront now. It is very sad, and it just goes to show that women need to be treated, like I said in the beginning, everybody wants respect and dignity. And why is it that for so long, women have been subjected to this kind of treatment, and they have kept quiet, and they have borne with it, and or they have quit. So these are the things which have stopped women from achieving their goals, even if they have been, if they've had the potential to do so.
So now, Tarunaji, the other side is we have said often in India also and elsewhere that women should not be seen as a commodity, and that is not something or some way to perceive them as something to be consumed, and so have respect and accord the proper dignity and all those things. Yet that is not happening from both sides. Many times it appears that the women that you see on advertisement, the women that you see in certain films, the kind of item songs that you have as a fixture for many films, it is aiming to present women with certain stereotype, again, if I may say that, and that is also part of the storyline. So there is justification probably, and yet at the same time, when the man who sees these kind of image of women, he walks on the street, he carries those impressions. So maybe I'm tilting our conversation towards Puritanism, but how these kind of images, whether through literature or through films or advertisements, do they play some role?
See, I think all these item songs that you're talking about, and the various ads that we see in which woman is used as an object, this is purely commercial. And I don't think that because of this, all the crimes that are happening against women happen because of these things.
No, I didn't say that.
No.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that, these things have been happening for a very long time. I don't support it, obviously. I find it very objectionable. But
okay, see, so just let me think. Continuing with this thread. So I heard from some women as well as men. They go to a party and they see that young girls, 6-7 years age, performing certain kind of gestures which they feel are probably going to harm her psyche as she grows, or whichever way. But that is becoming a pattern that is being accepted.
I have never been able to accept it. I don't like, personally speaking, I feel that little girls should not be made to go on stage and dance. That is not what they are supposed to do. They are supposed to enjoy their childhood. Unfortunately, the kind of times we live in, everything is commercialized. Even little girls' parents, commercialize the the image and the activities of their little girls, which is extremely sad. It should not happen.
Mm-hmm. So, Tarunaji, going to India with you, and especially in the context of Indian women whom you consider made their mark in different fields, including politics, give me a few names that makes you feel proud as an Indian woman.
Well, we've had Indira Gandhi, and then there are other women leaders who we've had. We've had Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay, who was a very strong force in the independence movement. We have other politicians who are more perhaps controversial, but I think it's very admirable that they have reached where they have reached. We had Jayalalitha, we have Mamata Banerjee.
Rajasthan Chief Minister also is Vasundhara Raje presently. Then,
yes, Vasundhara Raje,
Congress,
of course. So, some women have had the support of their families to enter politics, like Indira Gandhi did. But nevertheless, she had to prove herself time and again, to become the kind of Prime Minister that she became. Mm-hmm. People like Jayalalitha and Mamata Banerjee, they have come out on their own. They have fought at the grassroots, they have made sacrifices, and they have come out and they have been able to lead.
So ultimately, when you look at them, it becomes, as a human being, what is your contribution and what kind of color you are offering to the world through your chosen profession or through your chosen role. Now let's talk a little bit about the girl whom we see in frame with you, and I think she has also made India proud as well as Indian women proud.
Of course, this is Avani Chaturvedi we are talking about. I think it's a moment of pride for us that she's there. There are three officers, combat women officers, who can now fly these MiG-21s. So they are breaking male bastions, and they are proving, thousands of people wrong, perhaps millions of people wrong, that women can't do certain things, that they are not equipped to do certain things. So I think it's a great moment for women. We are living in a great century right now.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. So now as we move towards the concluding part of our conversation, Tarunaji, one area where men can never compete with women is you cannot foresee a man becoming mother. Though there are traits of compassionate love and tender care, giving ideas in a man, but so we have always looked up to women as mother, or because she is a mother, so she is very much respected. Now this takes us to both sides. One, indeed, it's a unique gift of the Creator, so to say. But at the same time, if a woman is not becoming mother, so if she is less than the other women who are mother, that idea needs to be addressed in a new light.
Absolutely. You will find on the net these days a lot of articles in which women are coming out and saying that this whole archetype of the woman as a mother needs to be broken down, because there are some women who are actually equipped to become mothers, and some women who become biological mothers but are not able to successfully fulfill their roles as mothers. That does not make them bad people. It just means that they are not meant to be mothers. And you will find men sometimes are better mothers than women are.
Absolutely.
And that is not to say that one can stand and judge them that because she is not able to do all the motherly duties, she's a bad woman. She's not a bad woman. She might be a wonderful person. So in the same vein, a woman who does not have children or who chooses not to have children, I don't think one can judge her either.
Absolutely.
Because there are, like I said, I keep saying there are different roads to happiness. Not everybody's road to happiness needs to be the same. Not everybody's sublime moment in life is the same. Every woman's sublime moment is not motherhood, you know. I'm a mother and I have 2 lovely girls, and I'm very happy that I had them. But I have friends who have decided not to have children, and they're very happy and they're wonderful people. Maybe you can become more generous as a woman or as a person when you don't have children of your own.
So that is again something which is open both sides,
Yes.
either way. And now talking to Taruna ji has helped us in freshly looking at the way women's aspirations needs to be appreciated, recognized, and she need to be given equal, she said, opportunity or full opportunity as she deserves. As we conclude this conversation, Tanuji, International Women Day, the way it is observed, is it just a formality, or do you think it actually contributes in furthering these ideas?
I think it absolutely helps in furthering these ideas. You know, at least once a year, women come together for a common cause to celebrate their womanhood, which perhaps, you know, they're not able to do the rest of the year. I think, and this is the time when many issues are taken up which are related to women. So I think it's a wonderful thing.
Wonderful. So I appreciate, Taruna ji, your presence here with us, and as we say thanks to Taruna Chakravorty ji for joining us here at ITV and helping us also observe, and if we use the word celebrate International Women Day in such a special way with her thoughtful and insightful sharing on this particular issue with lots and lots of good wishes. Pleasure having you.
Thank you so much. Happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day, and thanks to her and thanks to all of you for being with us.